Zhao Liying held her head high in the excursion with Feng, Zhuanlu and Suhei are a decent match. Welcome to the amusement circle. The first was Shen Li. She was wearing a long red dress that rippled in the breeze, giving her a powerful inclination. Zhao Liying's fragile little face is truly lovely. These are clothing from the Wei and Jin lines, and the general plan is basic and agreeable. Another viewpoint on purple. One of the violet robes she had at any point seen had 2 new plans on it. Most are white and match. Albeit the skirt isn't excellent, but since Zhao Liying's presumptive worth is excessively high. The heron head scarf are very straightforward. It would be great if they would be somewhat more refined the last episode. This light blue pullover is lovely. Shen Li was holding a lance with assurance in her eyes. Regardless of how agreeable you will be, you can in any case battle with a lance delightful head up. In the last outline, I need to call it a delightful scene. There was something in his eyes and a decent demeanor all over. On the money, starting here of view, with no defects, is an exceptionally gorgeous lady. Lin Jiangxin is brimming with silver strings. In Lin Jiangxin's focal point, a white figure showed up, only a white figure, which didn't show up before him. Nowadays, in television series, many individuals have silver hair, and their hair has become better. This god's hair is by all accounts a sort of satisfaction in the television series. Lin Jiangxin's circumstance is generally excellent. All things considered, he is the most established one and is invited by many individuals. Combined with the collaboration between the 2 male and female heroes, isn't this the continuation of the legend of Chu Qiao? The photograph of Lin Jiangxin seeking after Zhao Liying was classified as a pursuing web journal by netizens. This scene is truly amusing. Bunch photograph of Suhei Qiao. Suhei Qiao plays Shen Li's dad, Zhao Liying, who once had a relationship with Hu Kaiyangu for some time. Suhei Qiao likewise posted a gathering photograph of himself and a few male heroes, remaining close to Zhuanlu, who played Liu Yu, which looked exceptionally coordinated. They played Shen Li's folks. It's a film loaded with torturing elderly individuals. I trust the 2 will have a few magnificent exhibitions, a couple of little jobs. Wang Yi, as Huan Rui, played 2 individuals, one called Jingzai and the other called Zhao He, the 2 of which were exceptionally ladylike. She put on cosmetics in the water. Is this an individual and a beast? It's okay to put on weighty cosmetics, however I trust her acting is alright. Then again, Wang Yibo, who assumed the part of woman Jin, appeared to have a more profound relationship with Shen Li. This young lady is truly gorgeous, with great hair and cosmetics, and a decent personality. 02. Terrible Individuals is formally approved to distribute a surprisingly realistic variant. For what reason didn't Zheng Yecheng and K Wenjing make the variant? I truly didn't expect that the news that the 6th time of the troublemakers in painting Jiang who had not passed the preliminary just emerged. At the point when many fans were grumbling about the miscreants, there was one more information about the troublemakers. This news is uplifting news. Obviously, according to certain watchers, it may not be the situation, in light of the fact that the miscreants movement formally approved the surprisingly realistic variant, and the review has been delivered, so assuming you are intrigued, you might wish to investigate. Based on the news and recordings posted on Weibo, another surprisingly realistic rendition of the miscreant has been authoritatively approved by the troublemaker Liveliness. This is now the 3rd time the troublemaker has formally approved a surprisingly realistic variant. The principal rendition was featuring Zheng Yecheng and K Wenjing. Obviously, albeit the content killing is likewise a genuine individual, it is excluded here. This time is unique. According to the C, one might say that the entertainers have all changed, and they all look youthful. Taking a gander at the review of this new variant of the true-to-life rendition of the miscreant, the greatest thing to watch is that the scene ensembles and plots are impeccably re-established to the first work, which is the most fulfilling for some fans. However, according to watchers who have not watched the Troublemaker anime, this is supposed to be a genuine individual rendition. It is smarter to say that it is a cross at the pretending comic display. With respect to different angles, let me additionally say that this adaptation of the surprisingly realistic, most importantly, film is as yet the substance of the primary time of painting the troublemakers in Jianghu, which primarily rotates around Long Quanjian and the male hero Li Xingyan going down the mountain. Then, the expense of this true-to-life rendition is very low, and the entertainers are novices, so the acting abilities may not live up to everybody's assumptions. Eventually, the stage on which this surprisingly realistic rendition is communicated isn't the 3 significant video foundation of Tencent, Cool and Abnormal, which many individuals know about. It is an organic product video. So this is likewise ordained that this rendition of the miscreant true-to-life variant won't be a success after it emerges, on the grounds that this video stage is little and enjoys no exceptional benefits, so there will not be many people watching it around then. However, Troublemaker fans are intrigued. You can take a look when the opportunity arrives. This adaptation of the surprisingly realistic rendition is supposed to be delivered before the current year is over. All things considered, the finish of the trailer said that it will be delivered soon, and it is a little expense, and it won't take long to shoot. After the declaration of this form of the Troublemaker surprisingly realistic adaptation, many fans were disappointed. With respect to why, the primary explanation is the reason it was not Zheng Yecheng and Kai Wenjing who kept on shooting Troublemakers, yet a renewed individual to shoot, and the recording was as yet the principal season. You should realize that Zheng Yecheng and Kai Wenjing acted all around well toward the start. They were practically Li Zingyan and Ji Ruxu in the miscreant anime. They have been well established in the hearts of individuals, so why change the entertainers? What's more, everybody has proactively watched the main season. Is it actually intriguing to revamp it now? Does it actually appear to be legit? It is aimless and useless. Many individuals who have watched it won't watch it once more, and many individuals are presently nauseated with the revamp. Contrasted in a change, many individuals might want to see the true-to-life adaptation of the miscreant shot from here on out, which is intriguing. Presently I at long last know why Zheng Yecheng and Kai Wenjing's form were not recorded. There are just 3 reasons. One is that the two of them are not straightforward any longer. They are both huge entertainers. They have both featured in numerous famous television series and are commonly known. After they become popular, will they actually make minimal expense surprisingly realistic forms of terrible individuals? No, regardless of whether they needed to shoot, the makers couldn't bear the cost of it. To put it gruffly, the true-to-life rendition of the Troublemakers couldn't recruit them. Another explanation is that the second time of the surprisingly realistic variant of the Troublemaker, or at least, the adaptation played by Kai Wenjing and Zheng Yecheng, can be supposed to be excessively intense. Truth be told, from the second Ji Ruxu tumbled off the bluff toward the finish of the main time of the miscreant, the surprisingly realistic form of the Troublemaker is presently not as per the anime. The subsequent season began with a major change, and the miscreant was changed to the point of being unrecognizable, and fans couldn't remember it. At the point when he emerged, he at long last let the hero Li Zingyan kill the miscreant Yuan Xiangying, the Troublemaker spirit. Around then, the second time of the Troublemaker can be supposed to be admonished by many individuals. Despite the fact that it is said that the miscreant activity let Li Zingyan kill the terrible attractive Yuan Xiangying, it has a similar importance, however in the second time of the Troublemaker surprisingly realistic variant. Regardless of whether it worked, it has been opposed and disparaged by many individuals. Normally, seeing that the reaction and verbal exchange and the quantity of transmissions were not generally excellent, the surprisingly realistic adaptation of the Troublemaker finished quickly, and there was no arrangement for the 3rd season around then. At last, the second time of the true-to-life rendition of the Troublemaker has been eliminated from the racks. Many individuals may not be aware of this, but rather I recall it plainly, in light of the fact that one day I went to a peculiar video stage to look through spontaneously, and the outcome showed that the second time of the true-to-life variant of the Troublemaker was removed the racks. This can be supposed to be the straw that broke the camel's back that squashed Kai Wenjing and Zheng Yecheng's surprisingly realistic variant. Normally, there will be no development to this adaptation of the true-to-life form. Presently, following quite a while, it is essentially sure that the two won't star in the true-to-life form of the miscreant once more. So what is your take on this today? Conversation and remarks are gladly received. 03. Uncover Wang Yibo at Lenovo's public interview, however said he was utilizing an iPad. Brands face dark face, or face remuneration. As well as bringing in cash through recording and theatrical presentations, these stars and media outlets will likewise be welcomed by brands in light of their prevalence to go about as spokespersons for others' items to accomplish common advantages. After Lenovo's challenge to do series was sent off, it uniquely welcomed Wang Yibo to be the Lenovo brand representative, and for this reason, a brand live transmission occasion was held to acquaint this relationship with everybody officially. Somebody on the web uncovered a live video of the occasion, and subsequent to seeing the brand's presentation of the item's exhibition, the intuitive meeting came. At the point when the host saw that Wang Yibo didn't talk a lot, he believed him should share which Lenovo items he utilized in his life, yet when he opened his mouth, he toppled the vehicle. He was plainly approached to say Lenovo items, yet Wang Yibo said that he would utilize an iPad on the set. I couldn't say whether the host needed to remind Wang Yibo, or what was happening. He rehashed iPad on one site and made the brand close to him extremely humiliating. Initially, the brand side was glad to pay attention to Wang Yibo's sharing, however in the wake of hearing the name of the contending item, it promptly became dark. The individual who made the video intentionally gave him a few blades to make a sensation of being cut. Then, at that point, there is a crow drifting by, and that implies that the brand side is confused. Regardless of which brand it is, in its own live transmission, it is certainly miserable to hear that the representative purpose is a contending item, and having a dark face is ordinary. The other party left without dropping the amplifier, which was at that point the best gift to Wang Yibo. As a representative, prior to getting to work, you want to work really hard of examination and figure out the names of contending items. Subsequent to getting to work, you should not name contending items. This is the best regard for the brand. Each craftsman will sign an agreement with the brand prior to underwriting an item, and there should be a cutthroat item rejection statement. Wang Yibo said the name of the contending item during the live transmission, a large portion of which disregarded the agreement, so he might confront a fine, yet how much is obscure. Maybe in Wang Yibo's cognizance, he believed that the iPad was identical to all tablets, so he did no schoolwork prior to making that big appearance, and he just said the name of the contending item, which was truly amateurish by any means. After the netizens found out about this, they generally encouraged the brand to actually take a look at the craftsman's schooling prior to helping out the craftsman to stay away from this reoccurring, if not it would harm the brand's picture. I enigmatically recollect that when Deng Zhao took part in Running Man and Zheng Yecheng partook in Yearning Forever, in light of the fact that they had different supports for dairy items, they were seldom seen drinking yogurt from supports in the show. This is the genuine soul of the agreement. Full stop. I trust that Wang Yibo, who has encountered this disappointment, won't accuse the staff who didn't do a backtrack and netizens purposely try too hard to find something. All things considered, they ought to begin from their own reasons and track down the issue, in order to keep away from comparable circumstances. Try not to take a gander at Wang Yibo, this is something tiny, it really addresses the enormous climate of media outlets. Perhaps there are many individuals like him who committed errors when they partook in the exercises of the brand side since they didn't work effectively in the examination. This requires all individuals to be careful about their work and not to manage them nonchalantly, if not they will be welcomed by paying different sold harms, and an extended period of difficult work will be to no end. Okay, that is supportive of the present sharing. After everybody has understood it, what else might there be to add?